Yo guys, we're back with another episode of Flawless Finance going live with the CEO. I think we're on episode 12 now. And like we normally do, we talk about a wide range of topics, anything from sports, football, basketball, politics, business, economics, wrestling even, boxing, UFC. We talk about all sorts of stuff. But let's get into it. First thing first, we're going to be looking at some of the guys who are currently still free agents in the NBA. Now, this is a very interesting list of guys we've got here. Couple names that I'm interested in. But first one we're going to look at is Taylor Horton Tucker. Now, Taylor Horton Tucker is a interesting player. He obviously I know him best from his time at the Lakers, where he was drafted by the Lakers in the second round after the Lakers had acquired the second round pick from Orlando for cash considerations. And Taylor Horton Tucker plays. He's a guard. He's a combo guard, really. Seen him fill in at the three at sometimes for the Lakers when LeBron may have been injured. Of course, won the NBA championship in 2020 with the Lakers. That was his rookie season. So obviously a great start to his career. But as of now, he's currently a free agent. And we're going to look at his numbers. We're going to get an idea of why we think he's a free agent and if a team would be interested in picking him up. What sort of thing is that team getting from him? So we know that Taylor Horton Tucker, he's 23, so still young. Of course, joins the league in 2019-2020 season. Of course, wins the NBA championship, but hardly plays as a rookie. He's not going to get much game time. Averaged, just under 6 points a game in 6 games. So really far too small of a sample size to really even get an idea what he is as a player. But just briefly looking at his numbers, he looked like he shot the ball not really even particularly efficiently in his first season, but gets those 6 points a game and only plays 6 games. But we're really going to see him start to pick up a bit more in his second season for the Lakers, where he played 65 games and he averaged 9 points per game, 3 assists, just under 3 rebounds a game. He's really not a good 3-point scorer. He shoots 28% from 3 in his second season. He's, to be honest, when you're a player like this, you're a bit part player. In the NBA today, you really need to be able to knock down your shots. Because if you can't provide any sort of even respectable floor spacing, you're going to struggle in any team you are in the NBA. Particularly the way the Lakers were at that time. I'm thinking of who we had in the squad. The Lakers, around that time, they would have had... I'm not sure if Russ was quite on the team yet, but say Russ, I don't think Russ was there. But LeBron, who's an okay 3-point shooter, AD, who's a bad 3-point shooter, Carmelo Anthony, who's an okay 3-point shooter. There really isn't an abundance of 3-point shooting in that squad. So in my opinion, if I'm Taylor Horton Tucker looking to get into that squad, I need to be someone who can knock down 3, someone that can get open and knock down a 3. If I want to get on the court and stay on the court, he couldn't really do that. And it wasn't from lack of game time. He was playing 20 minutes a game for 65 games that season, so plenty of opportunity. But only shot 28% from 3. The season after, he played 60 games, and his 3-point percentage got even worse. And to be honest, to be a guard in the NBA, and it's not even like you're particularly big or particularly that good of a playmaker, because you're getting 3 rebounds, 3 assists, getting 10 points a game. You're playing 25 minutes a game as well, and shooting 26% from 3. That's, to me, it is laughable. It's the sort of number where if I'm an opposition player, I see you on the perimeter, I'm probably not even going to step up. I'm just going to let you shoot it, because at 27%, if you take 4 shots, you're only going to make 1 of them. And if I'm an opposition player, I can live with that, because we're also seeing he only attempts 3 threes per game. So he's attempting 3 threes per game, and he's knocking down 1 in 4. So there'll be games where he shoots 3 shots, he doesn't even make a 3-point in a game. Look, but by that logic, so if it's me, and I see Taylor Horton Tucker across from me, I'm probably not even guarding him at the perimeter, to be honest. Um, he then joins the Utah Jazz, and it's sort of more of the same. 10 points a game, which isn't bad. I say that, you know, being a player like him, who's averaging for his career, averaged 21 points a game, and 10 points per game, 21 minutes per game, and just under 10 points per game. It's not awful good in terms of a career winning the NBA championship, but now we're looking at a guy who's not got a team. For his career, he shoots less than 30% from three, and he's a guard. He's a 6'4" guard who's nothing special as an assister, nothing special as a playmaker, nothing special as a rebounder, and nothing special as a scorer. You're a very average player, and he's one of these players that when at the Lakers, AD would be injured a lot. LeBron every now and again would get injured. So he was sort of seen as that third guy, particularly at this point, towards the end of the time at his Lakers, that second and third season there. You had Carmelo Anthony, who was aging, of course. So in a lot of ways, Taylor Horton-Tucker was looked at as that third man on offense, that third offensive option. So the nights when you would have, AD would regularly be injured, like I said, occasionally LeBron would be injured, you'd be looking to Taylor Horton-Tucker, and occasionally he'd put up a big performance in terms of, putting some big points on the board. But you look at those points, like he gets, yeah, sure, he might get loads of points. I don't know what his record is, 30, 40 points in a game. I think, like, well, what was the result for that game? We lost. So for me, it's sort of empty stats, because if you're a player dropping 40 points in a game and your team loses, for me that shows that your team's just bad. The fact that you're having to rely on someone like Taylor Horton-Tucker to score 40 points per game, and he does that, and you can't even win the game, kind of shows me, that team wasn't amazing. And don't get me wrong, that team without LeBron and AD isn't an amazing team. Particularly after they won that championship and they let go a lot of those guys. They let go Dwight Howard, etc. And a lot of the nice role player pieces they had there. They broke up that championship core, you know what I mean? Like, you got Taylor Horton-Tucker. There's really nothing special about him, so I'm not surprised he's struggling to get a contract. Let me have a look at his career high. Yeah, career high, 41 points. I guarantee the Lakers, if it was at the Lakers, I guarantee when he got that 41 points, the Lakers lost that game. I guarantee that. Let's look at his salary. What his salary was like his last season in Utah. Okay, yeah, he was on 11 million. And, the way the league is at the moment, where it's so competitive for literally every spot, I would struggle to see a team pay him $11 million a season and you can't shoot threes. Because you're not good enough to carry the offense. That's established. Everyone in the NBA knows that. He's not built like that. Not good enough to carry an offense. But it's not even like he can come off the bench of a sixth man and run an open play, get him in the corner, get him wide open, and shoot a three. He can't even knock them down. And that's something we're going to look at with some of these other guys that are available in free agency. But Taylor Horton-Tucker, for me, you need to do something great if you're going to get an NBA spot at the moment. I think if you're a free agent, but like we say, there's three parts to the game. There's scoring, playmaking, defending. Taylor Horton-Tucker does none of those great. So I'll be interested to see where he goes next. I imagine wherever he goes, it'll be a minimum contract. Any team that wants to pay this guy over $3 or $4 million a year, a penny over that is overpaying, in my opinion. But I'm sure some team will pick him up because, like I said, he's still a player that for his career he's averaged 10 points per game. Even though it's not on, in terms of efficiency, it's nothing amazing at all, really. But I'm sure there'll be a team that's willing to take a punt on him. But I'll be curious to know what you guys think. Where do you think Taylor Horton-Tucker will end up? Do you think maybe he'll return to the Lakers? Do you think another team will want him? Be interested to know. Or do you think he'll play overseas? Let me know what you think. Another former Laker, Lonnie Walker IV. Let's have a look at Lonnie Walker. Lonnie Walker. 25-year-old Lonnie Walker. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah, Lonnie Walker joined the San Antonio Spurs in the 2018 NBA draft in the first round at the 18th pick. Lonnie Walker, he's only 25. A very interesting, potentially a very interesting offensive player for me. Of course, he's got the name, Skywalker. He's got crazy bunnies. He's a very good athlete, in my opinion. We see him start his career at San Antonio. Where are we looking at? Per game. Where are those per games at? Yes, per game, yeah. So he joins San Antonio first season, only plays 17 games, 2.6 points a game, only playing 7 minutes a game though. Then after that we see start to pick up a bit more. Next season he plays 61 games, 16 minutes, 6 points per game. Then now this is when he starts to become, a lot more of a regular for San Antonio. In his third season he plays 60 games, plays 25 minutes per game and gets, 11 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. So in terms of, affecting the game in other ways offensively, doesn't really do that in terms of, rebounding. Even though he's got crazy bunnies, I suppose it's, partially to do with his position as well. He's a shooting guard, so you're not going to get him getting loads of rebounds typically. So you don't really expect that of him. And again, shooting guard, so you're not going to really expect him to get loads of assists as well. And then his fourth season at San Antonio, he gets, his career high for points per game average. He plays, 70 games that season, averages 23 minutes per game and gets 12.1 points per game. That was not a breakout season for Lonnie. I wouldn't say it was a breakout season for Lonnie because this previous season, he showed improvement. In every season up until then, he sort of showed that improvement. But after that fourth season, after his rookie deal completed, San Antonio either didn't want to match the deal or didn't want to sign him. So they let him go in free agency, and then he joins the Lakers that summer. And I remember him joining the Lakers, and I was thinking, this is a player I'm not really sure about. I'm looking at the Lakers team, I'm thinking, we desperately need, 3-point shooting. And that last season, Lonnie Walker didn't shoot well from three. He shot 31% from three, which is bad. It's better than Taylor Horton-Tucker, but that's no compliment. But you're shooting 31% from three. You're a shooting guard in the NBA in 2022. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. So I'm thinking, why have we signed him? He doesn't really help us solve any problems. Okay, he's a good athlete, but we're a team that's got good athletes. We've got LeBron James, we've got Anthony Davis, we've got Russell Westbrook, we've got some amazing athletes. We need the floor spacing. But to be fair to Lonnie Walker, he did step up. He did, in terms of efficiency, looking at efficiency, that was his best season ever at the Lakers. Played 56 games for the Lakers. He averaged 11.7 points, shot 44% from the field, 36% from three, and 52%, 52% 2 points. And then in his free throws, again, a career high of 85%. In terms of efficiency, Lonnie Walker, that was a great season for him. And again, he was only at the Lakers for a season. I'm thinking, why don't we extend this guy? He goes to Brooklyn for a 1-year deal. I don't know how much Brooklyn were going to pay him. And again, I don't know what the Lakers' cap situation was like at that time. But again, he joins the Brooklyn Nets for $2 million for one season. We signed him for $6 million one season. I'm thinking, why don't we offer him 4 years, $20 million? Realistically, why are we not offering him 4 years, $20 million? But again, like I said, I don't know the Lakers. I didn't know the Lakers' cap position. They may not have had much cap. But I remember, they had those 3 huge contracts in terms of having LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, and Anthony Davis. So, to be fair to the Lakers, that probably did impact their cap room a lot. Of course it did. But then that meant you really couldn't build a squad. unfortunately, you couldn't build a squad because you wanted to bring in these role players, but you could only offer them 1 year deals. You know, you could bring in Lonnie Walker for 6 million 1 year, but he has a great season for us. You know, nearly 12 points per game, 36% from three, a great role player. Plus, you know, his athletic ability, you know, a great role player. We only signed him for a year. And the season after that, he leaves. So that's the problem when you're building around three superstars. And if you're going to build around three superstars, you better win a championship. You know, you better win a championship. So, to be fair, Lonnie Walker is a player I do think is a good player. And I think he'll be able to get a new team because at worst, for his career, he's an average three-point shooter. So you're taking a guy who's an average three-point shooter, really good athlete in terms of being able to get dunks and flashy dunks. So offensively, he's an interesting prospect. Defensively, I don't really know what he's doing defensively, to be fair. Can we get his defensive numbers here? Might not have that here. Defensive numbers. Yeah, defensively nothing amazing, to be fair. But he's a shooting guard. Shooting guards aren't always, you know, great defensively, but Lonnie Walker, very interesting player. And like I said, a player who I think there will be a couple teams that'll at least be interested in him because, like I said, he's got a lot of experience. He's only, how old is he? He's 25 to be fair. But he's played, you know, a lot of basketball. Got a lot of experience as well, to be fair. Got a lot of experience. Played under Pop. Played under Darvingham at the Lakers. I don't know who the Nets coach was. So a lot of experience there. And for his career, a player who's averaged, you know, 10 points per game, can shoot the three a bit. Interesting prospect. Definitely would be interested to see where Lonnie Walker ends up next. Where do you guys think he'll end up? I'd really be curious to know. But let me know. Who else have we got here? That interests me. There isn't really anyone here that interests me. You know, Gordon Hayward's retired. Horton Tucker, Lonnie, Michael Fultz, not really. Yeah, but those are the guys. Those are the guys who interest me from free agency. THT and Lonnie Walker, the former Lakers, interesting enough. But yeah, let's have a look. Let's have a look what else we got going on. Let's have a look. Let's have a looky. Fulham make £20 million bid for Palace defender Anderson. Joachim Anderson looks like he might be potentially joining Fulham. The Eagles value the 28-year-old Denmark defender who joined Palace from Lyon for about 20 million. They value him at 40 million. Very interesting. So Fulham are quite a way off, you know, Crystal Palace's valuation of him. But yeah, that's what I thought. Joachim Anderson did spend a season on loan at Fulham from Lyon. So I do remember him playing for Fulham. Very interesting. Yeah, very interesting. A player who I really like. I think he's a very good player. A player like Joachim Anderson, to me, he's the sort of player that really demonstrates the quality that we've got in the Premier League at the moment. You know, because he's a defender who can more or less do it all. Obviously, he's not an elite defender, but if you need a defender who can play it out the back, play those passes, decent physical presence, you know, like I said, can play on the ball, can play it out, comfortable with the ball, comfortable off the ball. You know, you wouldn't typically associate that calibre of player at a team like Crystal Palace, but like I said, it kind of goes to show the level that we've got in the Premier League, that a player as talented as Anderson he's not even at a big six side. Like I said, he was at Lyon in France. Lyon's one of France's top teams, and he goes from a top team in France to a lower middle, like a lower middle table team in the Premier League. So that goes to show you the levels. But yeah, for me, I really became more familiar with him at Fulham, where he didn't have an amazing time at Fulham, but that Fulham team was a bit chaotic. It was a very attacking team who very often threw caution to the wind and were on the other end, on the wrong end of a number of bad results. And he really got exposed defensively a lot at Fulham because he really just didn't have that sort of protection in front of him. They didn't have that protection in midfield that's still in midfield, but in terms of wider tactical strategy, they didn't even have that sort of organisation. It was really a free-for-all that season at Fulham, and that culminated in a relegation for them. So the season ends, he goes back to Lyon, and then obviously Palace buy him from Lyon, and they sort of take that risk on him. They see, they saw what we all kind of saw from him, a player that can play on the ball, a bit of physical presence, but he's a player who's comfortable with the ball at his feet. And then you kind of get that perfect marriage at Crystal Palace, where Crystal Palace, historically, they're known for that sort of defensive skill and that organisation. But they want to try and transition to a team that's playing, a bit better football. Maybe that's a conversation for another time, whether teams often can get too big for their boots and then that ultimately is their demise. But that's probably a conversation for another time. But we saw him ultimately do pretty good at Crystal Palace for the most part, to be fair. Can't take much away from him. Crystal Palace this past season had a very good season, and he was definitely a part of that. I think it's probably just a matter of money, to be honest. Crystal Palace want 40 million, Fulham are only trying to pay 20 million. So it's a bit of negotiations needed there. Maybe they can meet, maybe they can do a black-eyed peas and meet halfway at 30 mil. But who's to say at this point? It's still early days. That being said, the transfer window, it will be coming to an end soon. I say soon. Good couple of weeks, but time flies when you're having fun. So they'll need to be making a move quickly, because once the season starts, ideally, all teams want to get transfers done before the season starts. Of course they do, because then you can have a bit of time in pre-season, get the players familiar with each other, rather than signing them right before the season starts and you're sort of thrown into the deep end, particularly if you're spending 30-40 million pounds on a defender. You want to get him in and you want him to be playing. You don't want him to be sitting on the bench for a month getting used to things. But I suppose if you sign him, you put him in a 5-year deal, you're in less of a rush. But I'd be interested to see, do you think Joachim Andersen will be a good fit for Fulham if he rejoins them? Obviously, that Fulham team's changed quite a bit since he was last there, but would be very interested to know what you guys think of that move. Let me know if you think he should stay at Crystal Palace, or do you think going to Fulham's a good move, or do you think he'd be better suited at a different team? Be super curious to know what you guys think of that. Let me know. Let's see what else they got for football, boxing even. What else they got? What else have they got here? What else have they got? Not a great deal. Not a huge deal. Let's have a look. Okay. Looks like Floyd Mayweather's back once again. Floyd Mayweather versus John Gotti live on DAZN pay-per-view on August 24th in Mexico. Wow. Mayweather v Gotti 2. This will be Floyd Mayweather's 8th exhibition bout post his boxing career. Floyd Mayweather being a undefeated 5 division world champion, he'll step into the ring once again to face John Gotti III. Saturday night, August 24th in Mexico City. They'll be live on DAZN. I was really surprised that this fight would be happening again, where last time they faced each other in June 2023 in Florida, the fight was a no contest, and Gotti even tried to fight Floyd Mayweather after the bell had finished. But a year later, they're looking to rematch again. I remember last time, Floyd was really kind of just schooling Gotti, and Gotti really couldn't even get anything going. I remember he got off to a very aggressive start last time he faced Gotti. He landed his jab. He was active with the jab, to the head and to the body, and really stuck it to Gotti and made it very hard for Gotti to even, land a punch on Floyd. Floyd definitely displayed his defensive skills and ducked and dodged, and was even, talking trash to Gotti while he was doing it. He, showboated and, definitely done the more cleaner work out of the two. But eventually, after Gotti repeatedly, clinched, the fight got stopped. Referee Kenny Bayless stopped the fight. Gotti didn't appreciate the stoppage at all. He then sort of ran around the referee and tried to fight Floyd Mayweather, throw a right hand, but Gotti missed. And then we had a mass brawl breakout that sort of went viral, but was a crazy moment. And a year later, they're coming back from fighting again. Looks like they've got some unfinished business. I'd be interested to know what you guys think. How do you think that fight's going to end? Do you think... Yeah, be super interested to know what you guys think. Do you think it's going to be the same result again? Floyd wins? Or do you think Gotti could get the upset? Be super interested to know what you guys think. Make sure to let me know. Alright guys, I'm out. Take care. Peace.